To her judo and wrestling opponents, Kimberly "Kim" Bergey Kaip was a dual threat. Thanks to her success in both sports, she's now a dual Hall of Famer as well. Starting with judo at the age of 7 in 1979, she went on to excel on the mat in judo and wrestling, becoming a national champion in both sports. Beginning in the early 1990s, they also led her onto the world stage, where she enjoyed success for most of the decade. Before there was any thought of a podium finish, she got started in judo as a way to give her parents a little peace of mind.
For judo, I really don't have a lot of memories from the beginning, but what I do know is basically we had lots of kids in our family. My parents took in foster kids, and they dropped off 7 of us at the judo club and drove away for 2 hours. So the kids were learning judo and the parents got a break. So that's how I got into judo.
Not winning many matches in her early years in the sport, Bergey Kaip's early judo career was rather ordinary. However, by her early teens, that changed. In 1986, she brought home a bronze medal from her first Canadian Junior National Judo Championships in Nova Scotia. 3 years later, she improved on that result with a gold in Alberta.
Well, that was pretty exciting. The year before I won silver, so I lost to the girl I ended up beating the year I won. So each year I got a little bit better and ended up winning in my last year as a junior. So that was exciting because then it moved me on to World Championships.
Moving from the junior to senior championships, she repeated her climb up the podium. She came home from the 1989 Canadian National Judo Championships in Vancouver with a bronze medal. The next year in Quebec, she improved on her position with a silver medal. In Alberta, the site of her previous gold medal performance, she climbed her way to the top in 1991 to become national champion again.
So the 1991 National Championships was a senior division. In 91 I was, 18. And the year before I'd actually won a silver medal. So 91 I was fighting the same person I fought in the final the year previous. And winning that was pretty big because she was the first one to go to the Olympics.
Despite being highly accomplished in judo, Bergey Kaip was an unknown when it came to wrestling. She was a late bloomer, not seriously taking any interest in the sport until her final year of high school, as well as a groundbreaker when it came to female participation in the sport.
I started really wrestling, in my grade 12 year in high school, so it was 1989. Went to the wrestling coach who had coached my brother previously and said, I want to wrestle. And at that point, there was no girls in the room. So he said fine, and started wrestling in my grade 12 year in high school. My coaches entered me in the tournament, and basically I was in the men's division. And it seemed like the entire tournament stopped except for my match at the time it was happening, because at that time you didn't see a girl wrestling against the guys, so it seemed like, maybe not, but it seemed like there was a spotlight on us and everything stopped around us. But yeah, it was exciting. And then following that, the school board wouldn't allow girls to wrestle in tournaments, and so it took a couple years before it actually got going as a high school sport. But yeah, that was kind of the first and last time they let that happen.
Upon heading to the University of Regina, Bergey Kaip faced a similar situation. No female wrestlers. Unlike high school, she was not allowed to wrestle against her male counterparts. Rather than turn her back on wrestling, she formed the U of R Women's Wrestling Club to encourage greater female participation in the sport. The club immediately enjoyed success at the provincial level, winning 5 provincial team championships. Bergey Kaip also enjoyed success as a 6-time individual provincial wrestling champion. Although women's wrestling was not an official university sport at the time, they did run a women's division at the University Wrestling Championships. Again, Bergey Kaip and her teammates enjoyed success on the wrestling mat, usually returning with medals. As with judo, provincial and national success in wrestling led to the world stage for Bergey Kaip.
My success in wrestling, a lot of it came from my background in judo. Similar sports, I mean, different when you get out there on the mats. I had a lot of success at the Sunkist International, winning it 3 years in a row and beating some of previous world champions and things like that.
By the time Bergey Kaip stepped away from active competition in judo and wrestling, she had won nearly every major championship in Saskatchewan and across the country, in addition to winning most of the provincial awards presented to athletes. She is no longer involved in wrestling, but still remains active in judo. In 2012, she became the first female in the history of Judo Saskatchewan to achieve her 5th degree black belt.
It's amazing. It's nice to be recognized for things that you've done, and when I look at it, it seems like so long ago that I was competing, and so it's nice to see that myself and the sports that I'm involved in are being recognized.
Installed in the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame on September 29, 2018, Kimberly Bergey Kaip.